I think bees are very, very important. Bees are so important in pollination and in all of our food production and everything else. So I think bees are very, very important in all parts of our life. Just most people don't think about them. Oh, look, urban beekeeping is important too. It's very important to me. Obviously, it's what I do. Bees kept in the urban environment are a lot healthier than bees kept in the country because they have a lot more variety of things to eat, and they also produce a fair bit more honey than the ones in the country do. In the country where you've got 1,000 hives in a location, there might be spraying going on, whereas in the urban environment there's not a lot of spray used, so there's going to be less spray in the environment. I started beekeeping about 2 years ago when I read about what was going on all over the world with bees and how they were in trouble, and decided to try and do something about it. I didn't do a course, so I learned only from reading. So I read a lot, and I've read a lot of books about beekeeping, and now practical experience having a large number of hives. Well, the beehives are fairly easy to obtain. In fact, you can just make them yourself if you've got working skills. There's shops that you can buy the beehives in a kit form, and bees can be obtained for free. In spring, when bees start swarming, you go along and collect a swarm, which is what I do. So you'll have a bunch of bees hanging off a tree somewhere, and you go and shake those bees off the tree into a box, and you have a beehive full of bees. Okay, so we're going out to the Illawarra Beekeepers Association, which is in Sutherland, and we've got about 9 beehives out there, and we're going out to have a look at a beehive that someone was working on a couple of weeks ago, and just need someone to check on it. So we'll have a look at the hive and see how the bees are going, and move some frames around inside the hive, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. Well, we use smoke to calm the bees down, so they think there's going to be a fire, and because they think there's going to be a fire, they are not so interested in stinging us, and are more interested in having a look at their beehive. Have a look. Here, this bee here, this is a male bee.
How do you know?
It's much bigger. See, look, it's a very big bee. It's called a drone. Yeah. You see that? They don't have stingers, the drones. So you can see this is a very old comb. It's in very poor condition. That's basically what one of the frames is that's inside the beehive that you saw before, but obviously it normally has honeycomb that you saw here, and the honeycomb is sealed with a layer of wax over the top. So what you do is you use a heated knife. So this is a heated knife. It heats up with electricity, and you run the knife over the top, and it cuts off the very top layer of wax.
Okay.
So the cells are open. So you've now got runny honey that's open, but it won't fall out of the beehive, out of the frames rather, because the cells are all an angle that holds them in, holds the honey in. So this is a centrifuge, and what happens if you have a look inside is that the frames all fit in there like that, and then this rotates at high speed and spins the honey out. The honey all flies out against the side of this drum and all falls down to the bottom so that you can then put it in buckets. So the warm parts of the year when the bees are making honey, because that's when everything's flowering. So during winter they don't make honey, they only make it during summer. So the difference between my honey and the honey that you can buy in the supermarket, well, it's interesting. I bought this honey only last week in a big supermarket, and this honey says, on the label it says honey and syrup, and what's really interesting about it is it's only 30% honey and the rest is sugar syrup, but the package is so attractive that most people would buy that package thinking that it's honey. This is my honey. I mean, I package it in a couple of different size jars. What I do with the honey is I label it. There's got a label on the back that explains where it comes from. So in the case of this honey, it comes from East Sydney, and the back of the label says so. The marketing strategy for my honey is to package it from the locations it's come from. So all of my honey, you know what suburb it's come from. It's all labelled with, Wallara or Darlinghurst or whatever it might be. And people, when they look at the honey, are usually looking for honey from where they live, and they get quite excited by the fact that it's labelled with the suburb that it comes from.
I got the Bondi one because I've been spending a bit of time in Bondi lately.
Okay.
And yeah, I just thought it was appropriate.
Okay.
So hopefully it tastes good.
I sell the honey at quite a few different locations. So I wholesale it to some shops and they sell the honey on their shelves. And also at the markets in Taylor Square, I sell the honey there on Saturday mornings.
Sydney Sustainable Markets, and it's in Taylor Square in the heart of Darlinghurst. Really for three reasons. One, so that people in the inner city could have access to well-priced sustainable food, like organic and sustainable food. Secondly, so the community can gather together in the middle of the city. And thirdly, so that we can teach people about the ideas of living sustainably in an urban environment.
I think it's fantastic. It's a great way to build community along here. I'm quite green. I like sustainable stuff. So yeah, I think it's a really good idea.
I actually like the idea of supporting local produce and organic produce.
I'm president of the Amateur Beekeeping Association in New South Wales. We have about 500 members, and it's interesting, in 5 years the association's grown quite substantially as people become more interested in beekeeping. So about 5 years ago the association almost closed, and so now it's grown to 500 members, and I've just started a city beekeeping club, and I've had many people interested there, so I might have 200 more members in the next few months. So people are getting very interested, and the association's growing. But it's been going for 50 years, so it's been going for a long time. Bees are good for the communities. I mean, urban bees, there's not a lot of pollinators around in the urban environment, so having bees in the urban environment means that a lot of things get pollinated that might miss out otherwise. So you can get a lot more fruit, a lot more vegetables than you might without them. Personally, bees are important too because they force you to be very calm. So if you've got other things going on, you have to be very calm when you're working with bees. That's good too.
I like the concept that if you eat local honey, it helps you become immune to pollen and sinus problems. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds good. So yeah, so I try to buy the local honey.
In Australia, beekeeping will boom if we follow what's happened overseas in say, United Kingdom or in America. Backyard beekeepers or even rooftop beekeeping like I do will expand rapidly in the next couple of years, and then reach some sort of stable level. So in the UK, the experience was they went from having say 6 or 12 members in a club to actually having too many members and having to close the clubs to any new members. So we can expect to see that happen here as well over the next few years.